Welcome to our class for today. Basic Science is the class. And in our study for today is Basic Science for jss2. We've rounded up Basic Science for jss1. Now we get through the channel, you will see all the classes. They are in there. If you cannot find them, you can head over to classonlineschool.com. They are all there. Welcome again to the class. We are taking Living Things, Part 1, for your jss2 classes. And we're going to cover two objectives for this class. We will explain what habitat is, and then we will talk about the types of habitats. What are habitats? Before I talk about what habitat is, I want to explain something. For humans to live in their environment, there are things that need to be in place for life to go on. We need oxygen, we need carbon dioxide, we need food, we need water, and we need a lot of things to live as humans. So also, every living thing on earth, both animals and plants, there are things that need to be in their ecosystem, in their environment to support the life of that living thing. So when we talk about living thing and habitats, what does it imply? This is the natural environment of an organism. It is the natural environment of an organism. The type of place in which it is natural for it to live and grow. The type of place to which it is natural for that living thing to live and grow. It can equally be said to be the place or environment where a plant or animal or normal living or normal lives can grow. Now let us go over it again. That natural environment, habitat, means natural environment of an organism, of a living thing, and can be said to be a place where life can live and grow, or living things can live and grow. And it can be said to be a place or environment where plants normally live, where animals normally live. Remember, living things consist of plants and animals. And it must be an environment that supports the life of an organism, the life of a plant, for it to exist and for it to grow. That is habitat. If we take human, for example, it is an environment where humans, as a higher animal, can live and grow. And the growth here can imply having children, living healthily, and having sustenance within the environment. Now we have seen what a habitat is. That is a natural environment where living things can live and grow. Now we want to see the types of habitats. What are the types of habitats that can exist? The second objective, mention types of habitat. Today we will mention and talk a little about it. In our subsequent classes, we will give examples of what happens during. I'm going to look at 5 habitats. We'll talk about habitats. We'll have the forests. We'll have the grassland. We'll have the deserts. And we'll have the mountains and forest. These are the types of habitats we have. Under the aquatic habitats, we have things that lives in the water, freshwater, marine, which is high sea, coastal region. These are what aquatic habitats covers. So anything that has to do with water, anything that has to do with water is aquatic. Then we have forests. We have the tropical forests, the temperate, and then we have the boreal. Then we have the grassland. We have the deserts, and then we have the mountains and the polar. We have things that live in the aquatic habitats, like we have fish, we have shark, we have frog, we have duck, and a host of others. Fish cannot live in land because it cannot sustain its living condition. So the enabling environment for fish is the water. So its aquatic habitat, its habitat, sorry, is the ocean, the river, the coastal region, the lake, the ponds. Anywhere there is water covers the aquatic features. Then we have the forest. Under the forest, we have trees. And under this forest too, we have different trees that grows in different regions. We have the tropical region, we have the temperate region, we have the boreal region. All these regions are referred to as the forest habitats. There are plants that cannot grow in the tropical forest, but they can grow in the temperate forests. So each of these trees have what supports their living. We have grassland. This grassland majorly sustains lives of animals. Animals and some trees grows in these areas. Animals and trees grows in these areas. And then green grasses that serves as carpets to cover the earth. Plants equally grow, but majorly green grass, because these plants grow majorly in the forests. It is few that grows in grassland, but majorly grassland are the green grass that serves as a beautifying carpet to the earth. Plants grows in here. Animals sustain themselves because there are green plants that sustain their life. It has an ecosystem that supports their livelihood. They have things to eat, and they have things that can sustain them. We have the deserts. The deserts experience little rainfall. Here there are some kind of animals that can sustain here. We have the rattlesnake and some other plants that can survive. Even donkeys can survive in the desert because they need little water to sustain them. So the desert, like we have the Sahara Desert. There are some kind of trees or plants that can exist there. And the plant that can exist in the Sahara Desert cannot exist in the forest. Because here in the forest, there are more rainfall, but here in the desert, there are less rainfall. And these plants do not support heavy rainfall. So it is their habitat. It is where they can live. It is what can support their life. Then we have the mountains and the polar. These are high mountains. It's a very cold region. There are some grasses that can grow in the mountain. There are some animals that can live in the mountain. These might be animals that can live in very cold region, but they cannot survive in elder forest or grassland or even desert. But their body system can help them to live in mountains that are cold. So we see that every living thing on earth, be it animal, be it human, plants, there are places that are fitting for them because of their nature of existence. And so to support their nature of existence and what fits them better, they belong to one habitat or the other. So we have seen aquatic habitats, forests, grassland, deserts, mountains. All of these are different habitats that living things can exist, that support the existence of living things. Remember, I have explained what habitat is. An environment that supports the growth and living of an organism. I've equally mentioned 5 types of habitats. In this class, I've told you we have aquatic habitats, we have forests, we have grassland, we have desert, we have mountain. And under the aquatic life, I told you we have rivers, we have lake, ponds, streams. We equally have the freshwater, the marine, the coastal region. We equally have the forest, we have the tropical, we have the temperate, we have the boreal. We have the grassland, we have the desert as we have in the Saharas. We have the mountains that are cold region, that only things that support the cold temperature can exist in this place. That is part 1 of our jss2 class, living things. In our next class, we'll take part 2, and we'll still talk about these habitats. We might give examples, elaborate examples on each of these habitats. What falls under each habitat? The temperature. Are they very rain? Did they experience heavy rain? Are they cold region? I've talked a little about that, but we'll talk more about that. It was my pleasure having you on our basic science class for jss2. Go through the channel and find jss1. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like what you're doing here. If you know of those who can benefit from the classes, please share the video with them. Invite them to join class online school. If there are videos you can't find here and you want to have a comprehensive class of all the episodes, you can head over to class online school. You will get them there. Thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until I come to witness class. Thank you, my friends.